So on the slide here is just an overview of all the different things that the grant, the loose money did at the University of Washington. I thought I'd just kind of give you a sense of all of these because it was a complicated mix of activities put together. And I want to talk a bit about how I felt certain things worked well and other things not as well. Now that I'm almost finished with the project, I think we have another 6 months or so before the project officially ends. So just a few pictures. This is some of the students from the first field school in Indonesia. Dow there in his field clothes. We worked at 2 different sites, kind of a Metal Age site that went up into the colonial period, and then a Neolithic site on a different island. It was an absolutely fantastic experience with its challenges that you always have in the field, but intensive. We were there for 6.5 weeks. I also made all the American and non-Indonesian Southeast Asian students do a intensive language course in Indonesian language in Yogyakarta before we went to the field. It was only about 3 weeks of that, and I'm not sure. Some of the students did learn some Indonesian, some of them didn't learn so much Indonesian, but they got to meet their Indonesian students and build those relationships. This is from Palawan, from the Philippines in 2010. Quite a bit bigger crowd. We had the 5 students from the University of Hawaii.
This is a little bit of a different presentation. I'm glad to see that we have such variety in Peter's. It was a very wonderful and elegant presentation of how his university and he used his grant. And Laura's was a great example of one of the projects that's come out of the grant. I wanted to take advantage of this opportunity to talk just a little bit about the roots of Americanist interest in Southeast Asia, give a little credit to our forebears because of the audience I see, if I know how to advance this. And then I will talk just briefly about our loose institutional grant and some of the work we've done, and ask for some feedback directly, because that was one reason why I worked on getting funding for this workshop. So we did quite a bit of work, in fact, I think 10 field seasons in this area in southern Cambodia. And what was useful about the project in terms of the Luce grant is, first of all, Luce did fund a $100,000 grant in the early 90s to bring some of the Cambodians to the University of Hawaii for training. And it also inspired me to think about ways to do more training.
So Luce provides a great opportunity for the young colleagues in Southeast Asia in the field of agriculture, but when the Luce finish to support, so it is another challenge for us, not only Cambodia but for the other countries in Southeast Asia. So I would like to suggest that the Luce should be taken into consideration to continue the support in the future.
What I'm going to talk mostly about is one of our field programs that we've been doing. And I have my 2 collaborators here with me, so they're going to help me talk about the benefits of what we did in the Bakong area of the Philippines. But I'll just say a few words. We're one of the younger Luce projects. We're maybe toward the halfway mark. We still have several years on our grant. And we have some of the same elements that Peter has. We did hire a professor. He just came in September, Mitch Hendrickson, who some of you may know, that worked in Cambodia. He was at University of Sydney, and he does Khmer archaeology. So we're really happy because he's our second Southeast Asian archaeologist, and I think it will help us a lot since I've worked mainly in island Southeast Asia, so now we have mainland Southeast Asia. We also have a China specialist in our program, and a John Terrell that you might know, who does the PETA stuff and works in New Guinea. So we kind of have a big arc now from China down into Melanesia in our program. And I think that'll be really helpful for our students. So we did hire again, like Peter's Luce grant in University of Washington. We convinced Luce to cover 3 years of our professor's salary, and then our university is going to then keep him as a permanent professor.
There are so many experiences when I receive the Luz grant and during my visit in Michigan. From an academic perspective, I was able to meet with Southeast Asian scholars, Carla Sinopoli, who's a good ceramicist, good archaeologist working in India, Filipino scholars who are now residing in Michigan and working at the University of Michigan. I was able to observe how they store the vessels, how to store materials, which I can apply to ASP, to my home unit.
In 2008, the University of Pennsylvania Museum received a Luce institutional grant for collaborative research and training in Southeast Asian archaeology. First of all, the grant enabled several multinational, multi-institutional, and multidisciplinary field seasons to take place in Laos. These seasons focused on training of local Lao cultural heritage managers, as well as some other Southeast Asian archaeologists in basic archaeology, plus a lot of supplementary disciplines such as GIS, we did database management, flotation, many skills that are required in the modern day archaeological research program. They were able to do this in the context of a cutting edge archaeological research program itself, so that they got a very genuine, very authentic experience of archaeology in the modern world.
I can get experience, more experience from Dr. Joyce Wai from MF team, and can get experience from the international team. I mean the expert from the other country in Southeast Asia country and Europeans.